A very good morning to you, and thank you for watching Morning at NTV. The sports segment is what I'm going to take you through this morning, and it's not the usual sports segment and not the usual discussions that we usually have with colleagues, that is Priscilla Regina Naruga and Chris Higenyi. This morning I'm here to take you through some very interesting events, and for me, in the world of sports, domestically, there is no bigger event than the cricket cranes qualifying for the T20 World Cup that will be held, that is next year, in the West Indies and the USA. This is despite some very big stories throughout the weekend, both domestically and internationally, which included Joshua Cheptegei making his debut at the Valencia Marathon. We've known him to be the king of the track. Like everyone might know, at this moment in time, Joshua Cheptegei holds the world record in the 5,000 and 10,000 meters, but he's making the transition from the track to the road, and yesterday was his debut at the Valencia Marathon. The results aside, it was a tough outing for Joshua Cheptegei, but he's been through it all. For those that remember the World Cross Country Championships that were held in Kampala about 7 years ago, excuse me. You remember that implosion that he suffered, but he eventually recovered to go on and set several world records as well as win several titles. So apart from Joshua Cheptegei's performance, where he finished 37th at the Valencia Marathon, there is no bigger event for me from last week and even going into this week. That's why we have the cricket cranes coach this morning, and he's going to take us through the cricket cranes journey as they reached the first ever World Cup, or made the first ever World Cup appearance for both the men and senior teams. Good morning, Coach Jackson Ogwang.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us this morning. What a journey it has been.
Yeah, sure. A big story to tell for the cricket fraternity in Uganda and the world all over, everyone who supports Uganda cricket. It has been a big week for them, and this is something will take long to get over.
Yeah, you've been part of this journey, and I've been part of the coaching setup for close to a decade. You've worked under Steve Tikolo, you've worked under Coach Lawrence Matlani, and now you are the man in charge. How easy has the ride been?
Not a very easy one, though, because as a young coach working under those different experienced coaches, you surely have to put in the hard work. But I really feel it has helped me a lot in developing, because everything I've learned is through the hard work, and the ears I've kept open, listening to words of cricket wisdom from the best coaches in the world. Steve Tikolo, a 5-time World Cup player. Lawrence Matlani took South Africa under 19 for 5 years in the World Cup. So it has been a good one, and I credit myself too for being around always, and being a hardworking and a coach who always listens.
What gave you the confidence that you could get the job done with the cricket cranes, having been elevated from the assistant head coaching role?
No, not a lot actually changed, because this is a group of players that I've worked with for quite a long time, and we have had the same group of players for close to 6 years. I've been part of that setup, so it was easy. They already they knew that our target was to play at the world, the biggest stage of cricket, that is the ICC World Cup, and the dream just kept them in a positive mode, going into the qualifiers.
Off air, we are having a laugh about how you usually make it difficult for your fans to follow proceedings, whatever format of the game that you play in. What changed this time? What did you do differently that eventually helped you over the line?
No, as a sportsman, you know, things don't go your way all the time. But in a situation like this one where we went in, and I think we ticked all our boxes in terms of our processes and what we wanted to achieve. It made it easy for us to just go stick to the plan and do the right things at the right time, and that's why we managed to come out victorious.
Well, what would you describe as the turning point in this qualification campaign? You had two teams with bigger profiles than Cricket Cranes, that is Namibia, who are the hosts in Windhoek, as well as Zimbabwe.
Definitely beating Zimbabwe, and that's a test playing nation. They are full members of the International Cricket Council, and when the boys beat Zimbabwe on that day, we believed that we are going to the World Cup, because that is a game that gave us all the morale and all the momentum going into the remaining games.
Well, what is so special with this group? Because having been around cricket circles for a while, and so many names can roll off your tongue. You can speak of Franco Nsubuga, who's been part of about 4 or 5 generations. You can speak of the Benjamin Musokes, the Nehal Bibodis, the Nandi Kishores, the Yona Pakablos, the Tendombazis and all. What's so special about this group? Because could you describe this as the most talented group that you've seen around cricket circles?
Not really. I would not say they are the most talented, but I would say it is a group of cricketers who have actually worked and toiled together for a long time. If you look at the number of T20 games we have played in the last 3 years, it has been actually played mostly by this group of players. We shuffle a little bit according to the tournaments we're going to, but 70 or 80% of them have always been a core group of the team. So this is a team that has fought in many competitions. We have lost many, come out victorious in many, and excuse me. And I believe that whatever the bond that we created as a team from when we started this journey of targeting playing in the T20 World Cup, that has made the group so strong. And again, you're looking at a team that are full of all-rounders, a team where you have your batters from number 1 to 11, a team that
so you can point at more batting depth.
Yes, a team that bats up to number 10, and a team that bowls almost everyone on that team bowls apart from Simon Sesazi and Cyrus Kakuru. Those are the only 2 I can say I cannot bowl, and Robinson Obuya. But the rest, everyone can bowl, everyone can bat, and a team that had 3 wicket keepers in it. So I can say that's the depth built, and the role definition in that team just made it easy for any coach to come out with an 11 on any day.
On a given day. What's the impact that you think the previous 2 coaches have had on the national team, or cricket in general in Uganda? That is Tikolo and Mawatlani.
Yeah, Tikolo is one coach coming from an associate country, Kenya. That means for them to thrive at the world stage, they had to work really hard. And that is what exactly defines Tikolo: smart, hard work. And he's a fatherly figure. Everyone loved him. He's someone who knows the players inside and outside the field of cricket. So that is motivation enough for a player who comes from a background like Naguru, and your coach is believing in you. A coach who knows you inside out, pushes you inside the field and outside the field. A coach who wants always the best for you in life, inside cricket and in the outside world is someone you would always wish to have. Then comes Mahatlani, another fatherly figure from a test playing nation. He brought in a lot of experience in terms of player performance and player development programs, where you can see the players we have right now. there are many of them whose lives have changed because of this game, because they went from thinking only being cricketers to thinking about life after cricket. And that came with him preaching investments outside the game, trying to acquire different skills outside cricket, because this is a short career for every player. By 37, the career is already going down.
Unless you're Frank Nsug.
Unless you're Frank Nsug, who might play until 67, I don't know. But yes, two different coaches, two philosophies, but philosophies that have come to make us build something together as a team. There is that culture of hard work. There's a culture of teamwork. There's a culture of dedication and all that. That is something that is driving the team right now, because every tournament we go to, we no longer go to a tournament thinking, no, we are going to be beaten. We go to a tournament knowing that, yes, we are the best, and whatever comes, we are going to win. And that is a driving force behind this group of players.
At what stage do you think the cricket cranes are at the moment in terms of development? Would you say the team has now peaked, or there is still a lot to learn or to improve?
Qualifying for the World Cup makes it even a bit tougher, because now you are playing at the world's biggest stage, and you don't want to be a one-hit wonder. You don't want to go there, play one World Cup and wait for another 20 years. No, we want to be that team that is moving in some kind of direction whereby this kind of competitions become regulars for Cricket Uganda. And this can only be done by maintaining a big squad depth that we have actually built. You can see that in every position on that team, at least we have 3 players we can pick from, and they will come and compete very well. So right now I would say we are not yet there, but the fact that we have qualified for the World Cup shows that we have to build now from whatever we have achieved. We don't want to go to West Indies or the USA, get beaten, and come back and try to fight for qualification again. We want to stay up at the world stage, and this only will start morale boosting the players coming into the 50 over games are coming in next year, and it is something that will just drive our confidence up as we go for those qualifiers, because one target we have is as well attaining ODI status. Yeah.
What I know, you've not been in the head coaching role for a very long time, but you've been, like we've discussed earlier, you've been around the cricket setup for a very national team setup, by the way, for a very long time. What areas do you think can be improved to take the game forward?
One, we need these players to play a lot of competitive cricket. That is competing in many of the franchise tournaments around the world. If, for example, as a national team coach, when a tournament is coming in, you're just receiving your players, say, coming from a league in South Africa, you have some of the players playing in leagues in Dubai, all those first-class countries that play cricket, Zimbabwe, for example. It makes a job easy. That is one. Then our development path, I think the Secretariat, Uganda Cricket Association, is doing a great job. You can see we have hubs all over Uganda now, in western Uganda, northern and eastern, southern parts of the country as well. So if these hubs become strong and they are able to keep producing players at a younger age, whereby by the time they get to these national teams, the under-19 and the senior team, it is easy work that will keep making us a strong cricketing nation. So we need these players to play competitively. We need them to rub shoulders with the biggest playing nations in the world for us to maintain the standards.
Yeah, and taking it forward, you have used largely, like described, the same crop of players or pool that you've been choosing from. First of all, what is your fate as the head coach before you even go any further? What plans does the Uganda Cricket Association have for you?
I have.
Is it the end of the contract? Do you still expect more time with the team? Or are they bringing in a foreign coach? Because we saw at the qualifier that there was a consultant brought in. How safe is your job?
Mine right now is to do whatever is in front of me. I was contracted as interim for 3 months, and I have gone through two of my assignments already. The first in Zim, where we won 5 out of 5 and lost 1. Now the qualifiers in Windhoek, where we won 5, lost 1, and next week we fly to defend our Africa Cup in South Africa. I think after that is when I will know whether the association, of course, I still have a running contract as an assistant coach that runs until the end of next year. So I don't really know what is going to happen. That is something that I leave to my seniors at the association.
And then, considering the squad that you've used, do you consider more like, do you consider bringing in new players? I know several of the younger generation, you've used quite a number of players that have since gone overseas. Do you consider bringing some of those players back, or have you even been following their journeys or what they've been up to? Or we basically should expect the, say, 14, 15, 16 kind of players that we had in the setup?
Right now,
or the discussion hasn't yet.
No. We have players. Leave alone the ones who we don't know what's happening with anyone who is outside Uganda right now. That's all I can tell you. But something positive one I can tell you is I can name another 11 players out of the team that didn't travel to Windhoek. I can name you 11 youngsters who are right there knocking at the door to get their chance. So that means you have another squad of a Ronald Lutaya, Calvin Watua, Juma Miyaji, we didn't feature, Cosmas Cheuta, Innocent Mwebaze. We have Joseph Baguma, who has just finished his exams. So I can name another a squad of 15, and that is why I said in the past 3 years we've built squad depth. We just need them to get competitive and they start believing, moving in the same direction like the guys who are in Windhoek. Those ones, their morale is high up there now. They know that they have achieved a very good thing. So the youngsters who are coming up should buy into the same dream.
Do you honestly believe that the current setup is producing enough talent to improve the national team? Because in all honesty, while the Uganda Cricket Association continues to do, and you've been part of a lot of the development work, the team has had to include players who are sometimes described as Bachuba, and they've played an integral part. Do you think the setup is producing enough players?
Yeah, sure. And if you look at some of these players, they live here, they play in our league. They're part of the cricket culture in Uganda.
Yeah, but they haven't really come through the ranks.
Yeah.
For example, we all know that Ronak Patel or Dinesh Nakrani, apart from playing in the league, they've not been part of the junior setups. Yeah, that says something about the development of the game.
Not really, because if the same was being said about our under-19, I would say, yeah, we are not developing. But as a coach who has worked in all those age group setups, I really believe that we have a group of players that are coming up. I personally coach at Push Academy, an academy that has produced 80% of the under-19 in the past 3 qualification tournaments. So,
and even played at the World Cup.
Yes, they even played at the World Cup. And those crop of players are waiting. They are out there. Pascal Murungi, Joseph Baguma, Miyaji Juma, they are all waiting. They're knocking at the door. So we have a development path that is helping bring players into the national team.
And taking it forward again, what do you think can help improve or even improve the cricket Queen's chances at next year's World Cup?
Like I said, we need proper preparation starting now. The thought should be not how I'm going to bowl and not disrespecting anyone, not how I'm going to go bowl to the Gambia. You should start thinking, how am I going to stand there and face Rauf bowling at 145? How am I going to stand there and bowl to Virat Kohli? Because that is where we are heading now. And what will happen? Do we still keep preparing the same way? No. We need to go out there and play, practice and play trial matches with the best in the world. We need proper preparation setups right now, because we are going to play at the biggest stage of world cricket. Now we need to step it up a little bit. Yeah, we need tournaments. We need to play a lot of games, and we need to change our mindset from thinking, okay, not disrespecting any team again. I'm not running into ball to a player from, say, Lira. I am now running into ball to Steve Smith.
Yeah, and after celebrating Uganda's qualification to the T20 World Cup next year, after the celebrations, I start developing fears. You are mentioning Virat Kohli, and you are mentioning so many of these players. Don't you have any fears that you're going to be playing some nations that might embarrass Uganda?
I don't look at it that way. They are ranked ahead of us, and the reason why we come to work every day, the reason why we put on jerseys and run onto that pitch every day is to play the biggest in the world. That is where we want to be. We want to be playing at the highest level, and this is just another opportunity that God has brought down to these players to rub shoulders with the best, and their lives will not be the same again. They will not look at cricket the same way again after playing with all these big nations in the world.
Then how much of an impact has the administrative wrangles had on the team?
No, we basically, as sportsmen who run onto the pitch, we control what we can control. And what can we control is when you have a ball in your hands, you go pitch it up in the right areas. When you look at a cricket ball, hit it. So we try to shut out everything that happens outside our training settings. So basically, what I keep preaching to the players is, let us control what we can control. And what you can control is playing the game of cricket. Yeah, anything outside the game is background noise. We describe it as that, and we'll keep it that way. We basically control what we can control. Whatever happens from up, as long as the secretariat is providing all the logistics that are required for the players to go out there and represent, we are good.
We know that about 24 players are usually contracted with the national team. How much of an impact does it have on the team's performances?
Yeah, you need, for example...
and maybe how much, on average, how much do they earn?
They earn enough money. They earn...
Decent enough for you to take you through a month?
Yeah, sure. They earn something that can help them look after their families. Something that when you wake up in the morning, you know you have security. What you're required to do is just go out there and run and do the job for the country. So what they're earning right now, and thanks to the association that has they've tirelessly worked and supported these players all through the year. Actually not only 24, because there are a group of players that we also call in to come and play trial games. So for example, right now the association looks up after close to 32 players, and we credit them for that, and that has helped us a lot, because we need 24 players to organize a trial game, and some of these players, we have the foreign-based players who normally are in India. Some of them are playing their cricket in India, so we fall short in numbers, and that is why we have a big squad depth that is being looked after by the association.
Yeah, and as we wrap it up, you've qualified for the World Cup. Technically, what are you planning ahead in the lead up to the World Cup next year?
No, like I said, this is a period where we just have to...
Oh, you're still celebrating?
No. Our celebrations ended because focus has shifted already. We have a T20 Africa Cup to defend starting next week, and that is where the focus is right now. And moving forward from that, we need more of those games leading into the World Cup. We need to play a lot of cricket. We need to play different tough oppositions, so that by the time we get to America, we know that whoever we are going to face, we have faced people either equal to them or at the same level with them. And we just go out there not to show face, but to go out there and put up a fight.
Yeah, as cricket, you've not yet earned that presidential handshake. If one gave you an opportunity to meet the president, because the way we run things in the country, it's usually the powers that be that make the big decisions. What would you tell the president if you had an opportunity to meet him?
We have played in different countries that have infrastructures.
Because I'm bringing that because, for example, when the football team, the Cranes, returned to the Nations Cup after a 37-year absence, and then made an immediate return to the Nations Cup again, there was all this excitement, and then the presidential handshakes, and then the incentives that eventually came with it. As cricket, what would you, because eventually they had their budget increased from 10 to, initially it was 2 billion, then 10, then 17 billion. What would you tell the president if you met him?
First of all, cricket. Cricket is, I think, the second most followed game in the world. And that is why, first of all, we also have to be looked at as a famous sport. And to make us very famous, we also need to have our own Nambole. So if I am to meet the president, definitely, I would say, President, why don't you get us a home like a Nambole as well, so that we are also able to one day host India, even if it's India A. Call them and say, with our nice facilities, we can afford to host you here and play some cricket. We have a big Indian community here.
But we have Rugogo. We have Rugogo, we have Chambugo, we have NTV.
Yeah, those are grounds, but they are not to the standards of the world.
And Kamengo.
We don't call them our own. That is not something I want to go deep into. But me, on any day, even if we have the ground ready, I will still ask the president to build us a state-of-the-art cricket ground that we can call home.
Yeah, what are some of the other challenges that you face as the cricket fraternity that you think maybe sometimes we ignore? You've mentioned the lack of grounds. I know so many times the game has been inconvenienced by some activities taking place at these various grounds. But what are the other challenges that you face?
That is why if we are to have a home of our own, it will be for only cricket. But right now we use the National Council grounds, and they have the right to do whatever they want with their ground. So when they give us time to practice, we will practice. When they say today the ground is not available, we'll go by that. Yeah.
Okay, and as we wrap it up, who's the most gifted player you've coached?
That would be Zephania Rinaitwe.
Zephania Rinaitwe.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's not made the grade to. He's not established himself with the national team. Where do you think he can improve? Because Zephania is the same crop as Simon Sesazi, I remember doing a story around 2013.
No, in terms of
when Cesars was the MVP at the school's cricket week, and I thought they were making similar progress, but Cesars seems to be quite ahead.
no, Zephyr is just that naturally talented cricketer who can do anything on a cricket ground. Unfortunately, he hasn't hit the top market, and he's out of the country now. I just wish wherever he is, he realizes one day that God gave him everything, and he can actually play at the highest level of world cricket if he puts everything together. But technically, I think he is up there. Apart from him and Roger Mukasa, they are one of the most gifted cricketers I've ever worked with.
Okay, thank you, Coach Jackson Ogwang. He's joined us this morning on Morning at NTV. The sports segment has been dedicated to the cricket cranes following their exploits in Windhoek, Namibia last week, where they qualified, or where they are going to make a first ever appearance at the T20 World Cup. And that is an achievement that is historical. The word has been abused very many times in Ugandan sport. But Jackson Ogwang and his charges have made history by qualifying for the World Cup. None of the previous talented teams ever managed to make that feat. Never mind that the number of teams has been increased, or has increased from about 16 to 20. But that doesn't water down the achievement that Jackson Ogwang, as the head coach, and his 14 players achieved when they qualified for the T20 World Cup. That's been basically it for this morning at NTV Sports segment. I return, or will return in the next segment with our colleagues Chris and Priscilla. Keep it NTV. Stay tuned.